Hey, space fans. Hope you're having a great Christmas. We are all gathered around the tree with our families, opened some presents from Santa Claus, and we didn't want to leave you all by yourself on Christmas Day. So we're going to throw you a classic Podworms ep from the vault. This is one of our favorites. We know the fans have loved it. We have really appreciated all the love and support and pod mail and accolades. I mean, the accolades are less important. We care more about the pod mail and the love. This year in 2018, we're so excited for more pod fun in 2019. And as always, space fans, Merry Squirming!
I want to know what Merry Squirming looks like. Little worm with a hat on. Like,
oh, what a merry squirm! Merry squirming! What a merry squirm!
Live from the Base Room Studio in Ballard, Washington, this is the Podworms Spacecast. The Podworms are 7 lifelong friends who took stories from their life and put it into a long story. Everything from being born to a madman trying to strangle us on a swing set. Welcome to the Spacecast.
I like that one.
Yeah, that was good.
That's a good one.
That was a really good one. It's true.
On the fly.
Well, welcome everybody. I know so for those of you in the room here that don't know what that's referenced to, on the last episode, we got into a man on Kickstarter who was willing to sell his life story for about $5,000. And it began with literally him saying that he took his stories from his life, put it into a long story, and the next sentence was talking about him being born and then being almost strangled on a swing set by a madman.
And kidnapped by a madman.
Yeah, it got pretty intense. So go ahead and check out that episode. But we got the whole crew today, which is pretty exciting. So we're bolstered back up to the full seven strong.
Our full power level.
It would be I would be remiss if I didn't start by introducing our deadly brotherly duo, starting with Mr. Mike McCoy.
Woo, deadly brother roll call.
Okay, you guys are still doing that?
It's part of the curriculum. There's roll call first.
All right. Okay, my bad. Keep going.
I'm here.
And the second half of that roll call would be Kevin McCoy.
Deadly brother roll call finished.
Nice. We have illustrious producer, DJ, all around great guy, Chase Golk is with us.
Hello.
He's a great guy.
Wonderful guy.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. He's a DJ and producer.
We got bearded man, hairy man, but most importantly, appliance man, Phil Williams.
I think I have more hair man than I'm appliance man. I spend more time focusing on the growth of my hair these days than my actual profession.
Phil, would you prefer hair enthusiast now?
Oh yes, aficionado is what I introduced myself as, but either works.
Nice to meet you.
I'm trying to brand you as
Okay.
to help you with future career prospects. so people just associate you with the appliance man.
You are my LinkedIn, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, you should put that at the top of your resume.
We've got local historian Mr. Peter Fries in the house.
How's it going?
And of course, his little buddy, Jim Charters.
Hey everybody. I'm just sandwiched here between the Deadly Brothers today.
Oh, he's so cute. He's so historian.
Wow.
So we're all back here in the Base Room studio. It feels good. It's a nice sunny day in May.
Yeah.
Chase and I arrived here a little bit early before the rest of the crew. Chase threw on
Yeah.
We had some kebabs.
We had a nice BBQ. It was just me BBQing for myself.
The difficult thing is, I don't know if you guys have you guys done chicken kebabs before?
Yeah.
I've sworn them off personally for this reason I saw Chase struggle with, because he started the kebabs. They looked good about 15 minutes in. They looked perfect, like nice and crisp. But the chicken's not cooked on the inside, so you had to cook them for another probably 15 minutes.
I'll tell you, it was a fucking hassle.
They're just charred as fuck by the end.
You know what's the worst part of it too is kebabs. The chicken pieces are all different shapes because I bought it at the store, and I didn't get to control that part of the equation. And so, they all cook differently. Some of them are way
I'm not
overdone.
a big fan of how chicken sticks to the grill.
I'm not a fan of that either. I love that you bought something at the store for convenience and it ended up being
inconvenience. It was bullshit. I don't have any control over that.
That's why I'm never going to Safeway again.
You know what, though? It did turn out pretty well, though. How was your chicken?
Oh, yeah. I also brought chicken over, but I cooked mine in Chase's oven. It turned out pretty good.
How many times have you done that now?
There's probably number 2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean number 2. This is a classic grill and bake because we did not coordinate.
Yeah, we didn't coordinate very well.
Coordinate at all.
We need to throw like the Podworms grill and bake sometime soon.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You mean like for the fans?
Yeah, for the fans. Everybody come, bring your mom.
We need to find a worthy cause to have the grill and bake for.
Oh yeah, we do.
Some
and bake.
obscure charity.
All proceeds from the grill and bake go to, because our people were auctioning off what we're grilling and baking or something.
And
Oh, you just got to be an admission ticket. As much as you can grill or bake.
And
Yeah.
we rent out like a
as much as you can.
All you can grill, all you can bake.
Let's bring your own shit, but use the hell out of our ovens and grills.
It's the annual all you can grill and bake.
I can see us renting out like a big park space. We got a huge like vinyl banner out that says, you know, the Podworms Spacecast grill and
That
bake.
sounds great.
It's hard to bake at a park.
Everybody's bringing their families out.
There's a couple easy bake ovens with some generators that are powering them.
Daisy chained extension cord.
Yeah. Yep.
The grill we've got covered. The bake we're gonna figure out later.
People just love to go to parks and bake, so we need to provide that space for them.
Just be there next summer.
Welcome to the annual grill and bake.
So I guess stay tuned for that.
Yeah, that's coming up.
We're going to have to work with our logistics team to
coming
work
up.
that one out. Okay, so this, about 3 months ago, I went to IKEA and bought some furniture, which
Here we go.
which I thought was going to be a great idea. Have you guys been to IKEA recently or at all? Ever?
Yes.
I've actually never been to IKEA.
Has it changed recently?
Just keep it that way.
I mean, technically, it kind of has. They built a new one
where?
in the same location as the old one, but next door, and it's 2 levels now.
In Renton?
What?
in Renton.
It's fucking huge there.
Yeah.
Why does Renton get all the good stuff?
What has Renton done for us lately?
Boeing and an IKEA.
They got the $3 theater.
All the good stuff.
All the Boeing and an IKEA. That's Phil's perfect day.
They do have a good pet store too.
I want to see if Phil can name one more good stuff from Renton.
Yeah.
No.
I can't even. Yeah, I can't even
Renton
name.
is pretty bad.
They have a really good steakhouse.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They
Oh,
do.
the Renton Steakhouse.
Nobody wants to hear about the pet store though. No.
Okay. Sorry, Mike. Let's
sure,
hear about the
Mike.
goddamn pet
We'll
store.
indulge you about the pet store.
Okay. Oh, this is a good story too. There was one time that Julie and I were in Renton. We looked up puppy store, and we went to this pet store. They let us like Googled puppy store. Went to this pet store, and you could literally pick a puppy and then play in a little like pen with them.
What?
Yeah. So we actually, whenever we go past it, we stop there consistently, and it's in
my
Renton.
Was it a
God.
reasonable price?
It's for free. You just
No
say
fucking
you're
way.
like, I'm thinking about getting a puppy, and then they're like, and there's like 10 to 15 puppies that you can choose from. You're like, I can play with that one. You just have to like give them your ID and then get some hand sanitizer. Then you just sit inside the pen and they bring you puppies. No, we literally sit there for like an hour. And we're like, this one, we're done with this one. Can we get that little pug?
How do they not have your faces on like a wall? And they're like, do not let these people
how many
touch the
times have you
puppies.
been there?
We've probably been there probably like 10 times.
Yeah, they should have your face on the
over,
wall
the
by
past,
now.
over the past like 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me where this place is because I want to go.
I think it's called Fairview Pets.
Okay.
Is it a place that you are just in Renton and you go by because you're there, or is it a place you specifically
It is-
drive to Renton for?
It is. No, it's not. It's typically like. When
Wait,
we're around,
typically?
there probably if I'm being honest, there probably has been a trip that we're like, hey, we're gonna go over to this place. Well, we could drive the extra like 30 minutes to hit this, and we have done it because we haven't been there as much recently because we have our own puppy. But especially before we got Gus, we would stop there all the time.
I'm having a brain blast right now. I think the Deadly Duo brothers can make a great book together. It's going to be called Mike and Kevin's Free and Somewhat Unethical Date Book. You can have Kevin's dumpster diving for chocolate date.
Yeah.
You can have going and telling people you're going to get a puppy and hang out at the puppy date. Like, I think there's just a plethora of good ideas here. If you're on the cheap and you want to go on a fun date.
It's like a blog, Free in Seattle. Like,
You're not
15 ideas
technically-
to take your sweetheart.
You're not
Yeah.
technically breaking any rules,
Right, exactly.
But you feel
breaking the puppy's
But
heart.
you feel a little edgy.
You feel a little edgy though.
You're like, oh, I'm looking for a puppy. No, I'm not.
Like test drive a car, tell them you're going to buy it, but you have no intention of buying it.
We could have 3 sections, which is just mostly ethical, somewhat unethical, and then pretty much unethical.
And the only reason it says pretty much is for legal reasons. They're 100% unethical. So anyway, IKEA. So IKEA is a place
Yep.
that has a bunch of great looking furniture. And they entice you really well because as you first walk through IKEA, you go through their showroom and they have all these staged rooms. And so you see like a kitchen that's fully furnished, you see a living room, and you see all these possibilities. And you walk through.
This is mainly for Chase's benefit. He's never been to
Yeah, I've never
IKEA.
been.
Oh, you've never been?
I've
rest of
heard
us have.
about it. Where do you get the meatballs at this whole thing? I have
At the end, you gotta wait for the balls.
You gotta go all the way
You
to
gotta
get
walk
the balls?
all
All
the
right.
No, you gotta
you-
walk through everything.
You can cut shortcuts.
You can just go to the
I'm
restaurant.
stupid then.
Yep.
No.
Oh shit! Like Costco, you can
I'm
just
an
go in.
IKEA
Also,
sucker.
That's why I corrected you. I just wanted you to know how stupid you were.
And it's not at the end; it's in the middle.
It is in the middle.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
Maybe I dreamt that I went to IKEA once.
It's in the middle so you can get a snack and then keep walking.
get those balls. All right, keep going. Sorry.
But anyway, so it's a great place. You should go at least once in your life. It's just an interesting experience.
oh dear.
It's
Yeah,
like a
probably
big, huge warehouse maze of like different furnished rooms and whatnot.
It's a great place to get into an argument.
100%. This actually,
This story.
the story I was going to tell was IKEA related, but this second story that just came to my mind is also IKEA related and probably more interesting.
Great. Yeah.
So I'll tell a second story because it's more interesting. The other one's not that good. So we went to IKEA. This is actually months ago where I decided, hey, it would be great to get some new furniture. I'm feeling like I want to get some new furniture. I got some money burning a hole in my pocket. Let's get some new furniture. And so I'm going in, and there's a price in my mind of like money I'm willing to spend on this IKEA trip. Yep. And I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe like $250, $300 max.
It's a lot of IKEA stuff.
I mean,
They're
though?
pretty cheap.
I was looking for like a table and like larger stuff.
Okay, all right. Well, that's reasonably.
And so we're kind of like looking at stuff like, oh, this is great. So excited. Thinking about all the possibilities. You're walking through the showroom, belly full of meatballs. I mean, that's on top of the world.
Doesn't get any better.
And so,
Minus $50.
and
You
so
got the frozen packs to take home.
the way it works is that you actually don't start throwing stuff in your cart really until you've gone through the whole showroom and they have everything on shelves. And you get a little ticket and you write down the stuff you want and you can locate it in their warehouse. And so we start throwing stuff on, like a bed frame and a table, and we got some random plants and little plant holders, which you might call pots. And we get
You
to
might call them. You might
them.
and get to the
Yeah.
end, and kind of like a Costco, kind of like a Costco experience. The lines are so long. We probably waited in line for 30, maybe even 40 minutes in line, just sitting there
Wow.
waiting. And then we get to the checkout. The what do you call that?
It's the checkout.
The
Yeah, you got
checkout.
it.
Thank you.
Kevin,
Do you call that the checkout?
I call it the cashier.
Either way,
Okay.
the person who checked our stuff. And we ring out, and it ends up being about $700. And so I literally just slide my card, blank face, without saying anything, because I'm so stunned. I'm stunned, but I'm like, well, I'm committed now. And then we walk out to the car with the thing in the cart, and I'm still pretty much silent. And we open up the trunk. I'm halfway loading something in. I'm like, Emily, I can't do this. And she's like, what can't you do? I'm like, I have to return all of this. Holy shit. And she's like, wait, what do you mean? And I said, I wasn't ready to make this purchase. I have to return all of this. And so we walk back into the IKEA. She doesn't say a word to me until we get back home. We ended up going back in the IKEA, and they have a return section, and and you take a number and they call you, and they're all like returning a bunch of stuff. It's taking a long time. We sat there for probably another 45 minutes. Emily will not talk to me, which is fair. I don't blame her for that at all. And then I go up to the counter in my shame, pretty common theme on this podcast, and hand the person my receipt, and I'm like, I have to return all of this. And they kind of get this weird look, but then they returned it. And I just don't know what compelled me to like make any of those decisions that day. But we basically had a whole cart worth of $700 worth of shit. I then walked it back and returned all of it.
You didn't take anything home.
Nothing.
it's really, it's really like one of those like
That's so funny.
modern like miracles of advertising an organization where they're like, oh, well, this is all the stuff for the kitchen. You need something for the kitchen, right? You're like, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. And you pick it up, you put it in your cart, and then you go to the bedroom section. You're like, gosh, we really do need some new pillows and like a bed frame. Yeah, let's get that. And you go all the way through, and then you're like, you have all your stuff, and you're like, oh no, what have I done? It's like,
I have to
going
pay for this?
Yeah, I have to pay for this. It's like going to Target. You're like, I needed this thing, but I wanted to walk through all these other displays of stuff that I needed.
That's how like Julie and I shop. We always like walk through, like, especially last time we went to IKEA. It's like by the time you get to like the warehouse part at the end with the checkout, it's like you kind of like have the like come to Jesus moment where you're like, do I really need this? No. Do I really need that? You like had loaded all these things that you were excited about, and then you're like, no, we don't need any of that. So you like you pile on, and then you just take it off.
I'm curious why you returned all of
That's my question. Can we explain that? Yeah.
I think the pendulum just swung so far in one direction that I reactionarily just kind of swung it back the other direction.
You couldn't just pick like one thing so that the whole trip wasn't a complete waste.
No, that was too
your face
stressful.
at home.
You said you were going in, you ready to spend $250 or $300. You could have still gotten like a little bit, of,
Right.
like half the stuff.
No, you're right.
And after you checked out, you had this sweet little piece of paper that just told you exactly everything you had and all the prices that they were.
Well, and I looked at the receipt expecting there to be some math that was done wrong or something checked twice or something. And I was like, nope, that receipt's accurate. What the fuck happened?
Is that the first time you ever went shopping?
That was.
Maybe it was a second. Maybe it was a second time because he got a little bit too confident. You know, the first time he was really stressed about it, and he like really agonized about what he's buying. But this is the second time he's like, I got this. I'm going to IKEA.
I can do it.
I'm going big.
Yeah.
I like the idea of somebody that loves the idea of spending a lot of money on stuff just for the experience of going through the checkout and then like returning
it right afterwards.
He's like, I could spend $1,200 at IKEA. Is like talking to the person behind him in line, and then he goes right to the return.
If we were to condense your Saturday afternoon, essentially you woke up, wasted several IKEA employees' time, and then drove home.
Many hours of your own time, it sounds like.
I think more importantly, your girlfriend's time and patience.
Yeah. Every time I'm like, oh, we should go to IKEA and grab this thing. She's like, nope, not doing it. I don't blame her.
She can't go through it again.
There was a lot of bad decisions made that day, but
We won't get into all those.
Wait, that's not the end of it?
There's more bad
You
decisions.
hear that,
in
Andrew
one?
Jr.?
well, I mean, the bad decisions of just not.
9 months from now,
We're moving on.
from that time.
So I was looking up the definition of wagon wheel. So from episode 25,
Right.
We had discussed how back in whose story was this? Was it Jim or Kevin or?
Well, use your story first about the wagon wheels.
Kevin was the one that brought wagon.
I brought up wagon wheels because it was the test that you take.
Yeah,
Right.
the questionnaire.
Like on the dare kind of test, they were
Yeah.
testing the kids to see if they're on any illicit
wheels.
drugs.
Yeah, just like one of those for posterity like children's quizzes.
Right. And
One of those.
And so they're asking you like if you smoked weed, if you did crack, if you smoked wagon wheel.
Yeah.
And that was like a fake bogus drug to throw people off the scent. So
Was it really fake
I was
and
going to
bogus?
ask us because I haven't listened to that episode yet, and so I wanted a little summary. So wagon wheel is just a fake name for a drug that they put in the test.
Maybe.
Right, just
We don't know.
because there's kind of like some they want to see what kids are doing drugs, and they want you to be able to feel it's an anonymous thing, so they want you to answer honestly.
Right.
But then they also have people who are like, yeah, I do all of them.
Yeah.
So they threw wagon wheels in there. And I think there was a few others, but that's the only one I remember where you'd like if you answered yes to it, they knew you were lying.
Yeah,
Wait a
that
minute.
makes sense.
Wait. It's a bunch of kids. I would have just done yes, I smoked pot, and wagon wheel
There's
because I'm a
probably-
dumb
there's
kid.
Which is
many
why
of
they
them.
would throw yours out and know that you're lying.
Because you're the outlier.
Lying about just the wagon wheel or the pot. Like,
Everything.
Everything.
I feel like a kid who's smoking pot would be like, I'm gonna circle wagon wheel
I
too.
don't know.
Fuck the
You know,
establishment.
I don't know.
Hey, Andrew, I want to know the truth.
There's some interesting. Yeah. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, Kevin, it seems like you don't like your own test
yeah, man.
that you made up.
What the hell's wrong with you?
For all classrooms.
You know, I should stop giving it to fifth graders.
You were the one in fifth grade that conducted this. You're like, I think this will really help.
Oh, I thought you were administering the wagon wheel to people.
That came later.
Kevin's giving out some free wagon wheel.
Can we talk about this after the
Kevin
podcast? You
scored
got some
some
wagon
wagon
wheels
wheels
for
from third and pipe.
All right.
For some wagon
How much?
wheels.
How much? Yeah.
This episode of the Podworms Spacecast brought to you
Also
by
known
Kevin's
as-
Wagon Wheel. It'll get you high.
somehow.
This is what the Urban Dictionary said
How
about
many
wagon
spokes
wheel.
you want?
So it had several definitions. This first one, I don't know if necessarily cleared anything up for us, but it's interesting. So in Urban Dictionary, they say wagon wheel is the act of gathering in a circle and passing around a handle of Jack Daniels, while Wagon Wheel by Old Crow Medicine Show plays on repeat.
Okay.
For example, wagon wheeling ends when the bottle is finished. That would be an example of.
That's the number one definition.
A whole bottle of Jack Daniels.
pretty hardcore.
That's really.
Yeah, here's another example of how you use it in a sentence.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up.
Sorry,
That's fucking
I
crazy.
think
no
it's
kid
the
should be
most
doing
fucked
that.
up they have a stipulation that it's not over when the song ends. It's
over when the bottle.
Yeah, really. They're like, so you have to restart the
Like,
song.
oh, that song's like 4.5 minutes.
Oh, trust me, it'd be over very quickly.
Yeah, it does say on repeat. So,
Oh, never mind.
like for example, my friends and I wanted to get drunk fast last night, so we wagon wheeled before going out. Okay, that's all right.
That's
all right.
very
Wagon wheel.
specific.
But here's
Do
this.
they drink quick because they don't like the song,
Or they don't
or
like
because
Jack
they want to
Daniels?
get drunk?
I don't know. It's a good song. Look it up.
It's not. It's not a good song. I disagree.
Here, the second term actually may clear things up for us a little bit here. The second definition of wagon wheel is a street term for round, white, generic 2 milligram alprazolam, which are Xanax pills.
Oh, you could use those.
Well, rock me, mama.
Yeah.
Is this what it was? Is this like an antiquated term for Xannies? Is that what we're talking about right now?
Zanny.
I don't know, but Kevin,
Some Xans?
does this example sentence sound familiar from your childhood? Yo, what's the ticket on those wagon wheels, man? I just popped a few wagon wheels and I can barely walk.
Zach?
A few kids got pulled in the principal's office that day. So there you go. I guess.
It's only 2.
Well, there was. See, Peter. So glad to have Peter back in the room and also sitting next to me. Sometimes I have stuff written down that I decide, for the flow of the show, I'll just not say it. But we'll go ahead and just give the third definition here.
He's a stickler for detail.
Is there more than 3 though?
There's only 3.
Okay, there's only 3.
Super curious.
Yeah.
If there's only 3, we should do all 3.
we should do
Oh,
Okay.
shit,
That's a
Andrew,
good
I
point.
feel fucking ripped off. That's
a good point.
You just decided to just make that decision.
Who's in charge of this show?
I want to apologize on behalf of our fans, on behalf of everyone in this room, for potentially robbing you of this definition. So definition number 3 of wagon wheel is when a group of gentlemen arrange in a circle and gingerly touch the tips of their peni. It's not gay, just more like a special handshake or an expression of joy.
It's like a special
Joy.
Wait, how did it spell peni?
The way you'd expect.
I have no expectation.
Penis without an S.
Yeah. Multiple penises.
I love the expression of joy. You're like watching a football
Expression
game with all
of
the
joy.
Yeah, Seahawks!
Wagon wheel.
I mean, you
Yeah, and once they all touch tips, yeah!
Wagon wheel.
What a joyous occasion this is.
What a joyous occasion.
It's just like,
Now I see why Andrew didn't want to read it because then we would have gone.
Did you read that before you came?
no, kind of.
Because that's a great definition.
yeah, I can't believe you almost robbed us of that.
That is a really good definition to leave out.
I am owed an apology.
Just the word peni. I want to hear that more in my life.
Definitely.
It's like octopi or
So you guys weren't totally off base as how
do you
this could
say
be used.
penises? Do you say peni?
The example sentence is, good job on securing that recent win, chum. Shall we celebrate by forming a wagon wheel? It's very formal.
I like it if the procedure of performing it takes a long time. Like everybody's like, gotta get in position.
Like it's a ceremony.
Sorry, let me
You
pull my
went too
pants
far.
down just a little farther. Yeah, no, okay. Did you spread your legs out a little bit?
Go
Thank
ahead
you.
and touch one of these peni.
I would imagine that you would have to be, full of joy to actually make them be able to touch.
absolutely, yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Oh, full of
That's
joy.
probably why it takes so long. Everybody's firing off on the same time. You got to get them all synchronized. That's the hardest
forming
part.
a complete wagon wheel is very difficult.
well,
It's actually
Everyone's gotta be.
it's almost enough for a joyous occasion in
Yeah.
itself.
does it require a specific amount of people? Because there's only a specific amount of spokes on a wagon.
I
wheel?
think an actual the textbook version involves 7 adult males.
7 adult males.
I think it really is living by the sign.
Preferably 7 lifelong friends.
Oh, I see.
Okay, all right.
You know what we should do?
So-
we could do cover both definitions, or sorry, 2
Are you
of those
okay?
definitions.
Are you having a stroke?
I had too many wagon wheels before this.
we should
we should wagon wheel while we wagon wheel, if you know what I mean.
Oh.
we should do
like
that at the.
Are you saying that 2 of
live
these
show?
definitions
No, the
should be
bacon grill.
combined?
Yeah.
The grill and bake.
we grill and bake?
That's the entertainment for the night.
Now for our final performance.
Everyone gather
The
round.
Podworms will now wagon wheel while wagon wheeling.
They will perform
And
a
then-
double wagon wheel.
Never before attempted.
I mean, the more people involved in a wagon wheel, I think the longer the spokes have to be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not doing it right.
It's true.
Oh, an inner wagon wheel and an outer wagon wheel.
Oh.
So
I like the sound of that.
It's one of those Victorian wagon wheels.
Okay, so we got a nice bit to end the show with here, but before that, I want to share this other recent experience I had, where I bought a pair of random clearance shoes at Fred Meyer like 2 months ago, and they're the best.
how could this go wrong?
The best investment of my life, honestly. They're a New Balance.
Best investment too.
They're New Balance. They're kind of cool. They're comfortable. The most comfortable shoes I've ever owned. And I'm like, why are these so much more comfortable than every other shoe I've ever owned? And I was thinking back to my childhood, which is the only shoe I ever wore all the way up till pretty much high school was New Balance, specifically the grandpa style of white on white New Balance shoes.
Double strap.
Not double. No, they were
Double
lace
strap,
up.
dude.
They were lace up.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Double strap.
Wait, like white on white, or like the white with the blue and
Like straight up white.
Close your
Wow.
eyes and think of the word New Balance.
And then
I picture
that one.
I picture the white with blue.
Okay. I mean, I may have had both at some point because I
the
wore a
white
lot
on
of
white.
different New Balance. But these were kind of
yes,
cool.
and
Maybe I'm thinking of.
Thanks,
yeah,
Mike.
all right, never mind.
But I felt like this kind of redeemed New Balance in my mind because I used to associate them being uncool because everybody always gave me shit. Actually, Phil, I specifically remember you giving me specifically the shit and say, why do you always wear grandpa shoes?
Dude, you're probably because you had the double strap.
No, and do you want to hear some real shit? Literally the week after you made that comment to me in probably late middle school or early high school, I went and got some Converse shoes because
Good.
you called me out and said I had grandpa shoes.
And you probably did better in high school because of it.
Yeah, you probably did.
you have a lot to thank Phil for.
Team.
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
do.
saying.
You do.
You need a tough
Some tough
nudge
love
sometimes.
Yeah.
Give him a wagon wheel.
But so I got these great shoes, and I wanted to get a new pair of comfy shoes because I realized all my shoes prior are so uncomfortable in comparison. So I went looking for shoes, and we went to a bunch of different stores. We went to all the classic shoe stores, like we went to Macy's, we went to Famous Footwear, we went to Foot Locker, whatever those shoe stores are, and found some cool shoes, but none of them were very comfortable. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm trying on size 13, 14. These should be big enough shoes. And so we go back to Fred Meyer, the place where it all started.
13?
14?
Yeah.
These should be big enough.
14?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, big
All
feet
right.
and pretty small penis, so that got fucked up.
Something happened there wrong. Yeah, no. Okay.
I mean,
all right.
I'm size 14 too. What's the problem?
Yeah, well,
okay, the two of you kind of skew the shoe size in the room here with your size 14 feet.
What are the rest of you guys
Jim,
rocking?
how big are your feet?
So I have a 9.5 or 10.
12. I do 12.
12.
10 and a half.
Yeah.
I'll do it at 10.5 and 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, we're all kind of in the same range, and you guys are like way at the top of the
14.
graph.
That's 2 above me, and everybody else is 2 below me.
And you have pretty big feet.
That's crazy. Okay, anyway, sorry, keep going.
Chase is just learning
That
math.
was interesting.
But so
Daniel, cut that out.
that's
Two above me.
we can't just yell
2
for
above me, but 2 below everybody else.
And I'm about 1 to 1.5, maybe 2 above everybody else in the room.
There's so much math going on.
Chase, did you do that on your hands when you're
I'm
really
12
like,
more than 0.
It took me a little while. I had to think about it. That's why it took me so long.
So we ended up back up at Fred Meyer at the end of the day, where everything started. All right, and we went back and looked through the shoe section and tried some of their shoes. Didn't fit. Then I went back and I saw Nike had a special shoe, it was special because not only was it size 13, which is pretty rare to find in Fred Meyer, but it's also the wide size. And I tried this on, and it fit like a glove. And I realized suddenly why I had to wear the old man's shoes as a kid. I have really wide feet, and my mom would always go to the shoe salesman and embarrass me and be like, what shoes do you have in wide? And I'm like a 13-year-old kid with big fucking elephant feet having to wear the old man New Balance shoes. And now I realize as an adult that I have to just accept my fate. I can't wear cool, snazzy, regular people shoes. I gotta wear the wide shoes.
Dude, I have some good fucking news for you. There is a specialty wide shoes store that I always drive past. Wide shoes. That's it.
Yeah, it's called wide shoes. It's called Zoomies.
No, I was just thinking. I just drove past that, and I'd like noticed it for the first time, and I was like, I drive past in Edmonds all the time, and it's just wide shoes.
Wide shoes.
Really?
I know that place.
It's just
a big sign.
Wide shoes.
You gotta
There's
go.
nothing else on it. It's just wide shoes.
That's honestly, that's perfect.
It's gonna change your life.
That's like Mike when you accepted that you had to just go to big and tall. It's like,
Yeah.
I just have to go to wide shoes.
You gotta go
and that's
to wide
okay.
shoes.
Where'd you get those sweet kicks? Wide shoes, dude.
Wide shoes. No.
I hope that they're all like branded too. Like
Wide
they're-
shoes
they're-
brand.
they're like the offshoots, like Converse wide Converse.
They got a big W on the side.
They'll be like, what does that WS stand for?
a really wide W that stretches across.
But they fit great, so I'm happy with the purchase, but I just feel like a little bit of an outcast. But I guess now that I know about this wide shoe store, that's not so
You're
bad.
not the only one.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah.
small, so you may not meet a ton of people there, but there are people out there that have wide feet.
Other
Pretty
freaks.
small. You may not fit inside, but boy, do they have some wide shoes there.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'll have to keep that in mind. I got the shoes; they fit great, but one of them was squeaking. Have you guys ever had a squeaky shoe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever used the kind of home remedies to fix that before?
No.
I've never Googled
What?
that. No.
Not
I
ever.
don't know what they are.
Yeah.
So I was at work and I couldn't even get up from my desk because I was every time I get up I squeak. Like it was just so humiliating. That squeak. Every time I stop, squeak.
It was so
Squeaking
humiliating.
around. Yeah, it's embarrassing. You're walking around with squeaky shoes. And it's only one
cares.
shoe.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure it out. And so I went on Google and I looked up how do you fix squeaky shoes. And they said you gotta get some baking soda. And you put it in the shoe, and it absorbs like the moisture or whatever, and it fixes the shoe.
Boom.
And so I took the baking. I went to the store across the street. I went to the bathroom.
During lunch?
You went to the bathroom in the
yeah, at
store
lunch.
across
This
the
is
street.
emergency. This cannot wait till tomorrow.
You did this at work.
I told you I couldn't get up from my desk. I'm so embarrassed. So
Andrew walked across the street.
No, it was more like
He was in a hurry.
And then he had to wait for the light.
it was all I could think about. Like even as I was walking through the aisles of the store,
Oh my god.
I was trying to step on the one side of my foot that wasn't really squeaking.
Oh my god.
This is like the
like
telltale
hopscotch.
heart.
who's that squeaky limbed man?
Andrew, can I just tell you one thing right now?
Yeah.
Can I just for peace of mind.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Okay, I appreciate
Nobody
that.
cares that you had a squeaky shoe.
Thank you, Jeff.
Okay.
Have you ever been in the office with someone with a squeaky shoe?
I hate it.
Mike,
Fucking
it's
losers.
the fucking worst.
It's the worst.
It is the worst. I hate those people so much.
You better watch
Go
out for your
squeak somewhere
performance review. It's going to be pretty bad.
Go get some better shoes.
How many times in your life have you heard a squeaky shoe that you've been like, fuck this guy?
All the time.
I guess just this one time. When that guy was me.
Did you get your shoes from Squeaky Shoes?
But I got the baking soda, brought it into the bathroom, and just took my shoe off and put it in the shoe, put it on the outside of the shoe, rubbed it in. Problem solved. No more squeaky shoe.
Wow.
Going into the store
So-
bathroom like an addict, like you're gonna like go do drugs in there, but you had
Oh,
like
no.
Well,
it was baking
was-
soda. And you're just like hurriedly putting it in your
So
shoe.
did you not have any like thought about how you're going to be the guy in the office now that has just one shoe that smells like baking soda? You're going to be walking around.
There's like a puff of white powder that comes out of his shoe. And he walks around. There's like little splotches of it on the carpet.
There's like forever a smoke screen behind you.
Just a footprint of baking soda
and
everywhere
each
you
step.
walk.
And he has to keep putting the powder in it, or else it'll be more squeaky. He has to redo it.
Boy,
all
sure
the
glad I
time.
fixed that squeaky shoe problem.
Sits in a
It's like Pigpen from the Peanuts.
right.
Yes.
Just the dust cloud following. But hey, there's your home remedy if you guys at home got squeaky shoes.
Good to know. Thanks, dude.
All right. Okay, so
Another remedy would be just don't care about it.
Yeah.
you should know by now,
Nobody
Kevin.
cares.
That's not a viable
A
remedy.
lot of the answers to Andrew's stories
Are
Stories.
just don't care.
I think
nobody cares.
I think day drinking is your answer.
That's actually, you relax into your day.
That was the WikiHow #2 entry.
Wait, did you say WikiHow?
Hey, I'm still sensitive.
Oh my god!
I love WikiHow, the source of truth on the internet.
And the best art on the internet.
oh yes.
Hey, you got squeaky shoes? Pee on them. WikiHow.
Hey, problem solved. All right, so here, to close out the show here, before we convened today for the pod, I got the opinion of my fellow podcasters here in this room about a few different items. And I wanted to just get their opinion about kind of how they'd rank these items. So I don't have a snappy title for this segment yet, and if it isn't good, it doesn't need one because it's never going to come back.
How about this segment is rank?
I like it. I hope this is good.
I like
So we can keep using this. Okay, so basically, we got 4 different items here that we're going to be putting in some power ranking order. We got ground beef, Groundhog's Day, being grounded, and the ground.
All right.
And so I was kind of curious to see. I have my own order here about how I objectively would rank them in the correct way. But I was wondering about how you guys rank.
I
them.
have one question before we get into this.
Please, yeah.
Is it the movie or the holiday?
Oh, damn it.
Dealer's choice.
Ooh.
'Cause I have a different ranking based off of.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's hear. Go ahead, Kevin. Why don't you give us your ranking as the movie, and then give us the ranking as the holiday.
Okay, as the movie, I would place Groundhog's Day first, then ground beef, then the ground, then being grounded.
Okay.
But as the holiday,
I cannot wait.
ground beef, the ground, being grounded, and Groundhog's Day.
Oh my god, that's the same exact ranking as me.
So it flipped from number 1 to number 4
It did.
if it's the holiday versus the
Wow,
movie.
that's dramatic.
Yeah. I hate Groundhog's Day worse than being grounded.
Yeah,
Same.
So can you explain? Okay, so there's pretty common sentiment around the table. Is that
I disagree a lot.
okay?
Groundhog
So Mike's got a contrarian opinion here. So why do you guys think that Groundhog's Day is worse than being grounded?
because it's bullshit.
I'm going to say this. Think back to your last Christmas. You can probably remember what you're doing. Last Groundhog's Day, go fuck yourself.
Yes.
The only reason you knew it was Groundhog's Day because it was on the
so
radio
true.
when you were in the car.
It's so true.
Are you telling me some fucking shadow is giving me 6 more weeks of winter? Fuck that shit.
It doesn't make,
I would rather be grounded.
It's such bullshit. What a waste of time.
To be fair, we did get 6 more weeks of winter this winter.
Well, was there a shadow or not a shadow?
There was
I don't
a
even give
shadow.
fuck. I don't even know
was a shadow.
which way it goes.
I'm sorry,
I don't care.
you guys are overlooking something very, very specific.
Yeah.
The holiday of Groundhog's Day
Yeah.
was always a great excuse to watch Groundhog's Day in class.
Nope.
Are we sticking with
the
What teacher celebrates Groundhog's Day?
I'm just
Okay,
saying.
hold on,
The reason
hold
I've seen Groundhog's Day a lot, and every single time it was at school.
When?
Before we get into this some more,
I've never
are we
seen
gonna
it.
are we gonna continue calling it Groundhog's Day, or is it's Groundhog Day?
Groundhog.
There's no
What?
S.
No,
Is that true?
Groundhogs. I think there's a.
No,
There's no apostrophe.
No,
Day.
the groundhog possesses the day.
Oh my god. There's Groundhog's Day. There's no S.
Okay.
Also, the other thing that I was going to throw in just with that, just because we're here,
Yeah.
I feel like you guys haven't been like significantly grounded because being
No, I
grounded
have.
is like the worst.
I have.
that might be true. Actually, I don't know if I ever got a serious.
But
ground-
you know what,
I got
too?
grounded for 3 months because one night I said I cleaned out my backpack and my mom opened it up and I did not clean out my backpack.
3 months.
Whoa, did you have Kevin's picture
And
of Britney
now I have
Spears in there?
anxiety anytime I lie.
Hey, Mike,
pretty
why don't you
heavy.
stop caring? Just stop caring, Mike.
You know, the craziest part is that story isn't true.
Holy smokes!
Oh my god, groundbreaking.
No,
first of
because
all-
it snowed and they only let me go out with Kevin. Like all my friends were going and playing in the snow during the time that I was grounded, and they're like, "You can't go." And I like cried and cried and cried, and they're like, "Well, you can go with Kevin."
For 3 months.
And then
Kevin, where
and then
were
I was
you?
out for like 10
Where
minutes
were
longer,
you?
and then they were like really pissing me when I got back too.
This feels like there's more to that story. Like, were there drugs in your backpack?
No, I'd probably lied a lot.
Was there a picture of Britney Spears in your backpack?
No, no, I never got. I don't have a red-handed story.
That was just a straw.
Yeah, he's here now, isn't
Oh, okay. You're right. Yeah. We would have never seen him again. We would have never seen him again.
I think I just had a chronic lying problem. Anyway, moving on.
Jim is right, by the way. It is Groundhog Day. That's
God.
crazy. That's crazy
Oh,
shit.
man.
I didn't know that. But also, Mike, you brought up an interesting point. Watching a movie in high school. So a movie is at least an hour and a half long, maybe 2 hours.
Yeah.
A high school class is 50 minutes long. That pissed me off because you'd watch the first 50 fucking minutes of a movie, get invested, and then never finish the rest of the movie.
that's true.
That was horrible.
You get all the way through the second act and be like, okay, bye.
Unless you were in our video productions class where Mr. Eichhoff would literally cut Citizen Kane to a 50-minute
That's
time.
incredible. I can't believe he did that.
That movie's like 2.5 hours, and he would literally cut it down, which seems like very like counterintuitive for a video productions teacher to do,
absolutely.
because it's like you're not supposed to do that.
He's like, hold on, kids. I just got to fast forward. real quick."
He cut it and then he played it.
Wow.
It's because he's the artist.
Yeah, he is an artist.
It's funny that Citizen Kane 2, which is like this movie that's held at such a high regard, it's like this great cinematic masterpiece.
and he cuts it down in
Kids, let me
50
show you.
minutes.
I love that.
It's probably the only way to watch it today, though.
Is Mr. Eichhoff's version. You can go to his website and download the Eichhoff cut.
I mean, 2.5 hours of Rosebud is a lot.
Because that's the whole movie.
Kevin always says it twice in the whole movie. Rosebud. All you need is those two scenes.
Yeah, I read the script. It's just a whole lot of Rosebud. Anyway,
So I may have a little bit of a controversial listing here. But I had number one as The Ground.
So did I.
You guys had The Ground?
So did I. Absolutely.
So my
I really
reason
teetered back and forth. I couldn't decide.
I think The Ground is highly underrated.
It is.
It's a great.
Yeah.
It keeps us here on this great earth. It supports us.
Yeah. It gives us food, shelter.
It is our mother.
It provides.
provides.
it's true.
The Ground. I mean, without the ground, you wouldn't even have.
You wouldn't have-
Without the ground, you wouldn't have a place for the groundhog to go.
I think that your ranking is very.
without the ground, there would be no groundhog. It would just be a hog.
Your ranking
No,
is very
hogs on the ground
grounded.
too.
Thank you, Peter.
No, but without the ground.
yeah.
So
So
then you
that's
just have a pig, a hog.
That's what I just. Thank you. That's exactly what I said.
Hey,
But they need the
Jim,
ground also.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, no, the ground. Everything comes. All that is good comes from the ground.
also.
Did nobody understand what I said, Jim? Could you help prompt me
so,
with a few
Jim, wait,
questions?
why your logic?
Anything on the earth requires the ground because the earth is the ground.
Now hold on a second.
A beer fell in the office.
Bierfeld. It's
So-
okay. That's pretty.
So, but without the ground, the groundhog wouldn't be the groundhog. Is that what we're trying to say?
It'd just be the hog.
But that's just a big pig, though. That's
Thank you,
that's
Jim.
a hog.
Whoa, a big pig at
be the hog.
Wait, can we go over that one more time? I'm not, Mike. I'm not really understanding this. Can we? So I want you specifically to explain this to me, okay?
I'm gonna say this 2 more times.
At least 2 more times.
Without the ground, a ground hog,
Yeah.
Yeah.
ground hog.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
No ground.
We're listening.
Got it. Just a hog.
Hold on, question.
Yeah, go for it.
Skyhog,
Yes, Peter.
Skyhog, water hog, skyhog, water hog.
Oh,
It could be a skyhog or
Yeah,
a water hog.
they might turn into that
I've got
because
another-
of the lack of ground. Please wait your turn.
Objectively,
Chase,
skyhog.
keep your hand up, but mouth shut.
Objectively, skyhog or water hog cooler than groundhog.
Yeah,
so
potentially, potentially, but we don't know. There's a little bit too much of the unknown. Yes, Kevin.
what the fuck? I had my hand up first.
Chase, please. I'll get to you.
Without the ground, does that make it hog day? Because if so, that's my number one.
It, potentially, Peter's point might counteract that because it could be Skyhog Day. Because there's no other element. Yes, Peter.
God, fucking Jim.
Sorry, Chase. He called him me.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Excuse us.
Chase, you put your hand up if you want to get called on.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Keep your hand up.
I agree with what you're saying about my point. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
I'd like to say something too before we get to Chase's.
Yeah, go ahead, Jim. Go ahead, Jim.
I'd like to apologize on
really
behalf of the
important.
podcast and the fans for the dumbest thing I've said on this show in its history.
No. There was
Jim,
someone
come on.
listening that was not getting it.
Yeah.
The dumbest, Jim. The dumbest thing that was ever said on this podcast is putting baking soda in your shoes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think
that's up there.
I think we've covered it.
Without the ground, is it just beef?
Oh,
We can't do this because they're all.
Is it just being dead?
wait, I don't understand.
Instead of being grounded, is it being dead?
Hold on.
Yes.
Is this a separate thing from the
It's
hog
being-
thing? Or?
Like if there is no ground, being dead is my last place.
That's fair.
That's good.
That's how I
I can
feel.
agree. I think we can all agree with that.
Oh, that's
Would
pretty
it,
good.
would it
I
just
see
be
what you
Ed
did
though?
there.
Being Ed?
I don't want to be Ed either.
Well, you know what?
Fuck Ed.
Let's I want to turn this around on you guys, the fans. Give us your order. I mean, how would you guys rank these 4 items? Let us know.
With or without the ground.
It's really important. It's really important.
It really changes the balance. Yeah.
So if you want to send us your ground rankings, feel free and shoot it over to our Facebook page, Podworms Spacecast. That's where you're going to find great memes like worms now worms. Sorry,
Yeah, whatever.
I watch
whatever
it.
you want.
I don't make it.
You know, I bet worms without the ground
Oh,
are space worms.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Wagon wheel, wagon wheel, wagon wheel, wagon wheel.
This episode brought to you by Wagon Wheel. If you want to send us some pod mail, why don't you shoot us an email at pwspacecast@gmail.com. That's the place to be. If you want to tweet us, just like our old buddy Donald J. Trump and or Roseanne, 2 of our biggest followers on Twitter.
They are.
PW Spacecast also on Twitter. And
Get on that Instagram. I don't know if you said that.
Instagram. Yeah, Instagram.
Get on it.
Instagram's my favorite.
Instagram's
same.
probably everyone's favorite.
It's everybody's
Yeah,
favorite.
Instagram's getting pretty big. So follow us on there. And if you like the show, you think a friend would like the show, a loved one would like the show. If you loved your loved one, why not share something you love?
Yeah.
Tell that fucking person about the show.
Especially in past tense. If you loved them, then they still deserve to see the podcast.
Absolutely. If you love them, let them go
Yeah. But also show them the podcast.
and show them.
Let them
they
go
listen,
listen
set
to
them
the
Let them go
podcast.
listen to it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So hey, thanks for joining me on the show today, everybody. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, thanks for inviting us, man. It was nice. It was nice to have an episode with all of us instead of just you.
Yeah, it was really good for once. Thanks for inviting me to my own goddamn house.
See here. I'm not gonna try and come back from that. Until next time, space fans.
Wagon wheel.
Shut the fuck up, Mike.
Fade out, wagon.